Before directing Tom Cruise in supersonic jets and high-tech digital worlds, Joseph Kosinski wasn't a Hollywood star. He was an architect. Yes, an architect. But instead of designing buildings, he dreamed of designing entire worlds. Who would have thought that a Harvard professor obsessed with computational design would go on to revive an 80s franchise like Tron and take action cinema to new heights with Top Gun? His leap from architecture to filmmaking wasn't an accident. It was a calculated move, visually stunning, and completely unexpected. In an industry where most newcomers stumble, Kosinski made his debut with a visually groundbreaking cult film. So how did a rookie with no traditional filmmaking background convince Disney to hand him a multi-million-dollar project? What did Hollywood see in this digital designer that the rest of the world hadn't noticed yet? This is the story of how a quiet visionary reshaped modern blockbusters before anyone saw him coming. Let's go back to where it all started. Joseph Kosinski's first steps as a director didn't happen on a traditional movie set. They happened behind a computer screen. Joseph Kosinski was born on May 3, 1974, in Marshalltown, Iowa, USA. He is of Polish descent and grew up in a middle-class environment. He attended Marshalltown High School. He studied mechanical engineering at Stanford University, where he began to develop his interest in design and technology. He then transferred to Columbia University in New York, where he earned a master's degree in architecture. After completing his studies, he lived in New York, where he briefly worked in architecture. He later moved to Los Angeles, where he began working in commercials and visual effects, which eventually catapulted him into the world of film. That unique skill set caught the attention of the advertising world, where Kosinski began directing commercials for top brands like Nike, Nintendo, Halo, and Gears of War. But these weren't just ordinary ads. They were cinematic, immersive, and visually stunning. His work stood out for its sleek aesthetic, precise visual storytelling, and cutting-edge use of CGI. One of his most notable early pieces was the Mad World trailer for Gears of War, which became a viral hit and proved that Kosinski could tell an emotional story in under a minute. These short-form projects became his unofficial film school. They allowed him to master visual effects, pacing, and mood, all without ever stepping into a studio lot. His reputation grew, and soon, Hollywood came knocking. Disney, looking to reboot Tron, saw something fresh in Kosinski, a director who spoke the language of digital worlds and could bring a bold new vision to the franchise. Despite having never directed a feature film, Kosinski landed Tron: Legacy, a $170 million production. It was a massive gamble, but one that marked the beginning of a remarkable career. The film became a cult favorite, with a respectable cast, a unique vision, and a soundtrack performed by the successful DJ duo Daft Punk. They turned their first directorial venture into an unforgettable film. We'll just have to wait and see if the long-awaited third installment of this story continues Kosinski's legacy, or, on the contrary, Jared Leto's bad reputation leads to the film's failure. That would be a crushing blow to this saga.
There's no going back.
Well, you know, we had to be ambitious. We knew from the beginning the first Tron was ambitious in so many ways, and it was important to me on this one, and all of us working on the movie, that we try to push the envelope in every way we could. That was, you know, that's the Tron heritage. That's part of the Tron legacy, and we, you know, we strove to do that.
Just 3 years later, Kosinski returned with another visually striking, star-filled film, Oblivion. The movie was based on a graphic novel he had developed back in 2005. Initially, Disney acquired the rights with plans to turn it into a family-friendly film. But eventually, Universal took over the project, developing a new, more mature script with greater creative freedom. Kosinski not only directed the film, but also used his architectural skills and design abilities to create the film's futuristic tower house.
Was the most beautiful set I've ever shot on.
It allows them to even kind of immerse themselves more deeply in the story because they're surrounded by it. So that's something I'm really excited about that we were able to do on this movie.
This is an amazing piece of art. I want to stay here and live here. I want to move in.
With a production budget of $120 million, Oblivion went on to gross over $286 million worldwide. While it didn't become the massive commercial hit the studio had hoped for, it allowed Kosinski to fully showcase his signature futuristic style. And, more importantly, it marked his first collaboration with Tom Cruise, a partnership that would open new doors down the road.
He loved the world from the start. He was really excited about the character that he wanted to play. You know, for me, he was an incredible creative partner on the film. You know, he's worked with a lot of my heroes of cinema, Stanley Kubrick, Michael Mann, Ridley Scott, Sidney Pollack. So I did learn a lot from him over the course of this film.
In the following years, Kosinski directed 2 commercials where he continued to embrace CGI, the craft that defines much of his artistic identity. Then, in 2017, he directed a short film called The Dig, centered around a dark and mysterious story: a man helping a woman bury a body. While the short contains no CGI, its atmosphere, framing, and music will feel somewhat reminiscent of Tron Legacy. That same year, he directed Only the Brave, a dramatic retelling of the true story of an elite group of firefighters battling the Yarnell Hill wildfire in 2013. Only one of them survived, and that role was played by Miles Teller. The cast also featured standout performances from Josh Brolin, Jeff Bridges, and Jennifer Connelly. Though it underperformed at the box office, critics praised the film. It proved Kosinski could step outside his usual style and deliver a grounded, emotional story with impact.
Out of these flames comes this bear on fire. It was the most beautiful, terrible thing I've ever seen.
This movie, because it's based on a true story and is dealing with real people, there was a lot of pressure to present these Granite Mountain hotshots in the most accurate and kind of honorable way. Most of the fire in the film was captured for real, so the actors had some really close encounters with large fire and got a sense of what it was like to be a wildland firefighter.
The following year, Kosinski directed yet another commercial, one so well executed, most people wouldn't believe it was just an ad. A simple premise sparks the story. Taco Bell doesn't sell fries.
I want fries!
Honey, Taco Bell doesn't have fries.
I wonder why not.
But Kosinski turns that idea into something dramatic and cinematic, with such a strong filmic tone that the only real complaint is that it doesn't last longer.
I
The clown gave it to me.
Why are you doing this?
These nacho fries are consuming you.
Then came 2022, and a turning point in his career. The original Top Gun from 1986 had left an indelible legacy, especially among nostalgic fans. Now, the mission was to bring that legacy to a new generation. Talks of a sequel had been circulating as early as 2010, with Tom Cruise on board and Tony Scott set to return as director. But after Scott's tragic passing in 2012, everything was put on hold. It wasn't until 2017 that Joseph Kosinski was chosen to lead the high-stakes comeback. Maverick wasn't just embraced by critics. It was hailed as one of the best films of the year, and at the box office, it shattered expectations, nearly multiplying its budget tenfold. The film earned multiple Academy Award nominations, including Best Picture. While the top prize ultimately went to Everything Everywhere All at Once, Maverick also landed a nomination for Best Original Song. That song, performed by Lady Gaga, featured a music video directed by none other than Kosinski himself, further proving his versatility and artistic vision across every medium.
It's incredible. I mean, to be here on such a beautiful evening, right in the middle of London with this film, it's spectacular. That's what we designed it for. These are real flight sequences captured in camera. That's Tom in the plane, that's all the actors in the airplane. It's gonna make you feel what it's like to be a Top Gun pilot, so see it on a biggest screen with the best movie sound you can find.
That same year, Kosinski released what might be considered the weakest entry in his filmography, Spiderhead, a science fiction psychological thriller starring Chris Hemsworth and distributed by Netflix. Spiderhead centers around a high-tech penitentiary experimenting with the effects of mind-altering research chemicals. The test subjects, technically prisoners, volunteer in exchange for reduced sentences. The film starts off with an intriguing premise, but as the story unfolds, the pacing slows and the narrative begins to lose momentum.
I agree. I don't think it's science fiction. I think everything in this film could be happening today. They wrote this thing that I didn't put down. I read it cover to cover when I first got it, which is a great sign. And it was just, to me, an incredible challenge as a director, and I thought it would be a really fun challenge for the right actors to tackle and just make something totally unique and different than anything else out there.
In 2023, he had been considered as director of the film Twisters, although he ultimately only participated and received credit as creator of the original story. Now, in 2025, Kosinski returns to the big screen with a new project that has Formula One fans buzzing with excitement. Starring Brad Pitt and filmed on real racetracks, the movie blends high-speed realism with cinematic spectacle. The plot centers on a retired former driver and his last dance. But races are won as a team, and he must earn his teammates' trust to fight for the championship. Featuring spectacular scenes with adrenaline pumping, the film promises to be as immersive as possible, as we feel inside a Formula One single-seater. It will also feature the participation of several real-life stars. It's a major opportunity for Kosinski to once again showcase his talent. And with only 6 feature films under his belt, he's already positioning himself as one of the most distinctive and respected directors in Hollywood. If you enjoyed this look back at Joseph Kosinski's filmography, I'd really appreciate it if you gave it a like and subscribed if you enjoy this kind of content. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.